Welcome. This is Recidiva. I'm sharing a recording of a casual Skyrim playthrough using a mod list I built. My profound thanks to all the mod creators who have made this game a crowdsourced treasure. I hope you enjoy. Alright, okay. I don't adapt well when I change my hotkeys. Alright.
Let's be careful. Someone could be watching them.
Oh, damn.
I'm not seeing a activation
How the
for
fuck
that.
am I supposed to draw my sword folded over like this? One of these days I'm gonna cut something off myself, I swear.
Yeah, I usually don't go into dungeons until I have the quest. Because, yeah, without a marker, it's difficult for me to find my way. Well, we're gonna see if I actually make it to the end of the dungeon or not, huh? I know where it is in the final room. I'm just not sure where the final room is.
Don't wanna wake up whatever's in here.
Slow and steady. We don't want to
Right.
grab any undue
Traps,
attention
huh?
now, do we?
Yeah, they get nastier and
What was it?
nastier.
Shit happens.
I better listen for anything coming up on us. Because if I have to stand up quick right now, it's gonna get real fucking awkward.
Okay, gate's open.
job. Hey, it's funny. It's times like this I always hold my breath at the end with you two,
You are so sweet.
listening for the click when it unlocks. You're a phantom, to be fair.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, warmongers are no joke, and to even take half their hit points off with a bow shot is pretty damn good. Happy with that.
What's this place called? Misenschlecht. Why do Dwemer places always have such fucking weird names?
Yeah, I'm afraid I like always think of it as the Dwemer names are like Neufchâtel, you know. There's Minster left, and it's Neufchâtel. They're all like goat cheese.
I'm not stealthy. Sorry.
It's okay, honey. Be nice to you.
It's so dark in here. Watch out for traps. I do not want to be dragging out your remains.
Pretty sure Grimsever's like right over to the right here. Oh, sweetheart. Okay, good. I didn't hit Kaidan. There we go. Yeah, it's been a long time since I
I'm no
did
fan
that,
of
but
magic, but what can I say? I like how your mind works.
all right. Let's check. I just got a fate card, so let's see if I can make a deck yet. So think about it. Like 100 hours in. And still no decks. And still no decks. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, I don't want to go to Black Reach. No, thank you.
I wonder how deep in the earth we are.
Pretty deep. I don't want to go there. Unless it's a unique spot in Blackreach. Let me just try zoning in. I can always zone right back out. Okay, it's just an alternate entrance. All right. I don't really want to go in there.
let me sell.
It is so frustrating that for some reason I am now like always in combat once I zone.
What is it, Elf? There are some that say the Dark Brotherhood is back, and stronger than ever. That they've made Dawnstar their home. Tell me, am I wrong?
I wouldn't listen to some.
What do you need, my friend?
I have all your items for you.
Items? What items? Let me see those. I'm not sure how you managed it, but these are exactly what I need to start my next set of experiments. Wonderful! Well, at least allow me to reward you for your uncanny foresight. I have to remember. Ward first, then summon.
Every person is dishonest who lives upon the labor of others.
I
Makes
don't
no
know
difference.
where Mjol hangs out at night, so I'm gonna go read a book, take a nap, and find her in the morning. Oh, it is the morning.
Rare trick, calling us out of these for moral. It's not true what they say about you and the Dark Brotherhood, is it?
I wish they would stop talking. Beautiful view, look at that. Huh. Okay, apparently I'm gonna run in circles here. Okay, there, yeah. There's the tub.
I'm gonna need more than just fruit to get me through the day, you know.
I gave you Horker, I gave you cheese, I gave you sweet rolls. Dude, you have so much food.
Let's have a drink, or eat something.
A Dance in Fire, Volume 7, by Wayland Jarth. Scene: Sylvanar Valenwood, date 13 Suns Dusk, 3E 397. The banquet at the Palace of the Sylvanar was well attended by every jealous bureaucrat and traitor who had attempted to contract the rebuilding of Valenwood. They looked on Decimus Scotti, Leotis Juris, and Bast with undisguised hatred. It made Scotti very uncomfortable, but Juris delighted in it. As the servants brought in platter after platter of roasted meats, Juris poured himself a cup of jaga and toasted the clerk. "I can confess it now," said Juris. "I had grave doubts about inviting you to join me on this adventure. All the other clerks and agents of the building commissions I contacted were more outwardly aggressive, but none of them made it through, let alone to the audience chamber of the Sylvanar, let alone broker the deals on their own like you did. Come, have a cup of jaga with me." "No, thank you," said Scotti. "I had too much of that drug in Felinesti and nearly got sucked dry by a giant tick because of it. I'll find something else to drink." Scotti wandered about the hall until he saw some diplomats drinking mugs of a steaming brown liquid poured from a large silver urn. He asked them if it was tea. "Tea made from leaves?" scoffed the first diplomat. Not in Valenwood. Not in Valenwood. This is rotmeth." Scotti poured himself a mug and took a tentative sip. It was gamey, bitter, and sugared, and very salty. At first it seemed very disagreeable to his palate, but a moment later he found he had drained the mug and was pouring another. His body tingled. All the sounds of the chamber seemed oddly disjointed, but not frighteningly so. "So you're the fellow who got the Sylvanar to sign all those contracts," said the second diplomat. "That must have required some deep negotiation." Not at all, just a little basic understanding of mercantile trading," grinned Scotti, pouring himself a third mug of rotmeth. "The Sylvanar was very eager to involve the Imperial State, the affairs of Valenwood. I was very eager to take a percentage of the commission. With all that blessed eagerness, it was merely a matter of putting quill to contract. Bless you." "You have been in the employ of His Imperial Majesty very long?" asked the first diplomat. "It's a bit more complicated than that in the Imperial City. Between you and me, I don't really have a job. I used to work for Lord Atreus in his building commission, but I got sacked. And then the contracts are from Lord Vanek in his building commission because I got them from this fellow Regulus, who was a competitor, but still a very fine fellow, until he was made, dead by those Khajiiti." Scotti drained his fifth mug. "When I go back to the Imperial City, then the real negotiations can begin. Bless you. I can go to my old employer and the Lord Vanek and say, 'Look here, you. Which one of you wants these commissions?' And they'll fall over each other to take them from me. It would be a bidding war for my percentage, the likes of which no one has never seen." "So you're not a representative of His Imperial Majesty the Emperor?" asked the first diplomat. "Didn't you hear what I said? You stupid?" Scotti felt a surge of rage, which quickly subsided. He chuckled and poured himself a seventh mug. "The building commission are privately owned, but they're still representatives of an emperor. So I'm a representative of the emperor. Or I will be, when I get these contracts in. It's very complicated. I can understand why you're not following me. Bless you, it's all like the poet said, a dance in fire. If you follow the illusion, that is to say, illusion." "And your colleagues? Are they representatives of the Emperor?" asked the second diplomat. Scotti burst into laughter, shaking his head. The diplomats bade him their respects and went to talk to the minister. Scotti stumbled out of the palace and reeled through the strange, organic avenues and boulevards of the city. It took him several hours to find his way to Prithala Hall in his room. Once there, he slept very, very nearly on his bed. The next morning, he woke to Juris and Bast in his room, shaking him. He felt half asleep and unable to open his eyes fully, but otherwise fine. Conversation with the diplomats floated in his mind in a haze, like an obscure childhood memory. "What in Mara's name is rotmeth?" he asked quickly. "Rancid, strongly fermented meat juices with lots of spices to kill the poisons," smiled Bast. "I should have warned you to stay with Jaga." You must understand the meat mandate by now, laughed Juris. These Bosmeri would rather eat each other than touch the fruit of the vine or the field. Oh, what did I say to those diplomats? Cried Scotty, panicking. Nothing bad, apparently, said Juris, pulling out some papers. Your escorts are downstairs to bring you to the Imperial Province. Here are your papers of safe passage. The Sylvanar seems very impatient about business proceeding forward rapidly. He promises to send you some sort of rare treasure when the contracts are fulfilled. See, he's already given me something. Juris showed off his new bejeweled earring, a beautiful, large, faceted ruby. Bast showed that he had a similar one. The two fat fellows left the room so Scotty could dress and pack. A full regiment of the Sylvanar's guards was on the street in front of the tavern. They surrounded a carriage crested with the official arms of Ellenwood. Still dazed, Scotty climbed in, and the captain of the guard gave the signal. They began a quick gallop. Scotty shook himself and then peered behind. Baths and Juris were waving him goodbye. Wait, Scotty cried. Aren't you coming back to the Imperial Province too? The Sylvanar asked that we stay behind as Imperial representatives, yelled Laertes Juris, in case there's a need for more contracts and negotiations. He's appointed us undrape, some sort of special honor for foreigners at court. Don't worry, lots of banquets to attend. You can handle the negotiations with Vanek and Atreus yourself, and we'll keep things settled here. Juris continued to yell advice about business, but his voice became indistinct with distance. Soon it disappeared altogether as the convoy rounded the streets of Sylvanar. The jungle loomed suddenly, and then they were in it. Scotty had only gone through it by foot, or along the rivers by slow-moving boats. Now it flashed all around him in profusions of green. The horses seemed even faster moving through underbrush than on the smooth paths of the city. None of the weird sounds or dank smells of the jungle penetrated the escort. It felt to Scotty as if he were watching a play about the jungle with the background of a quickly moving scrim, which offered only the merest suggestion of the place. So it went for 2 weeks. There was lots of food and water in the carriage with the clerk, so he merely ate and slept as the caravan pressed endlessly on. From time to time, he'd hear the sounds of blades clashing, but when he looked around, whatever had attacked the caravan had long since been left behind. At last, they reached the border, where an imperial garrison was stationed. Scotty presented the soldiers who met the carriage with the papers. They asked him a barrage of questions that he answered monosyllabically, and then they let him pass. It took several more days to arrive at the gates of the imperial city. The horses that had flown so fast through the jungle now slowed down in the unfamiliar territory of the wooded Colovian estates. By contrast, the cries of his province's birds and smell of his province's plant life brought Decimus Scotty alive. It was as if he had been dreaming all these past months. At the gates of the city, Scotty's carriage door was open for him, and he stepped out on uncertain legs. Before he had a moment to say something to the escort, they had vanished, galloping back south through the forest. The first thing he did now that he was home was go to the closest tavern and have tea and fruit and bread. If he never ate meat again, he told himself, that would suit him very nicely. Negotiations with Lord Atreus and Lord Vanek proceeded immediately thereafter. It was most agreeable. Both commissions recognized how lucrative the rebuilding of Valenwood would be for their agency. Lord Vanek claimed, quite justifiably, that as the contracts had been written on forms notarized by his commission, he had the legal right to them. Lord Atreus claimed that Decimus Scotty was his agent and representative, and that he had never been released from employment. The Emperor was called to arbitrate, but he claimed to be unavailable. His advisor, the Imperial battle mage Jaegar Tharn, had disappeared long ago and could not be called on for his wisdom and impartial mediation. Scotty lived very comfortably, off the bribes from Lord Atreus and Lord Vanek. Every week, a letter would arrive from Juris or Bast asking about the status of negotiations. Gradually, these letters ceased coming, and more urgent ones came from the Minister of Trade and the Sylvanar himself. The War of the Blue Divide with Somerset Isle ended with the Altmeri winning several new coastal islands from the Wood Elves. The war with Elsewhere continued, ravaging the eastern borders of Valenwood. Still, Vanek and Atreus fought over who would help. One fine morning in the early spring of year 3E 398, a courier arrived at Decimus Scotty's door. Lord Vanek has won the Valenwood Commission and requests that you and the contracts come to his hall at your earliest convenience. Has Lord Atreus decided not to challenge further? Asked Scotty. He's been unable to, having died very suddenly Just now, from a terribly unfortunate accident, said the courier. Scotty had wondered how long it would be before the Dark Brotherhood was brought in for final negotiations. As he walked toward Lord Vanek's building commission, a long, severe piece of architecture on a minor but respectable plaza, he wondered if he had played the game as he ought to have. Could Vanek be so rapacious as to offer him a lower percentage of the commission now that his chief competitor was dead? Thankfully, he discovered Lord Vanek had already decided to pay Scotty what he had proposed during the heat of the winter negotiations. His advisors had explained to him that other, lesser building commissions might come forward unless the matter were handled quickly and fairly. Glad we have all the legal issues done with, said Lord Vanek fondly. Now we can get to the business of helping the poor bars marry and collecting the profits. It's a pity you weren't our representative for all the troubles with Bendermach and the Arnesian business, but there will be plenty more wars, I'm sure of that. Scotty and Lord Vanek sent word to the Sylvanar that at last they were prepared to honor the contracts. A few weeks later, they held a banquet in honor of the profitable enterprise. Decimus Scotty was the darling of the Imperial City, and no expense was spared to make it an unforgettable evening. As Scotty met the nobles and wealthy merchants who would be benefiting from his business dealings, an exotic but somehow faintly familiar smell rose in the ballroom. He traced it to the source, a thick, roasted slab of meat, so long and thick it covered several platters. The cyrodiilic revelers were eating it ravenously, unable to find the words to express their delight at the taste and texture. It's like nothing I've ever had before. It's like pig-fed venison. Wait, pig-fed venison? You're feeding deer pigs, or you're feeding... But there's a hyphen in there, pig-fed venison. Okay, moving on. Did you see the marbling of fat and meat? It's a masterpiece. Scotty went to take a slice, but then he saw something embedded deep in the dried and rendered roast. He nearly collided with his new employer, Lord Vanek, as he stumbled back. Where did this come from? Scotty stammered. From our client, Sylvanar, beamed his lordship. It's some kind of local delicacy they called untrapa. Scotty vomited and didn't stop for some time. It cast rather a temporary pall on the evening, but when Decimus Scotty was carried off to his manor house, the guests continued to dine. The untrapa was the delight of all, even more so when Lord Vanek himself took a slice and found the first of 2 rubies buried within. How very clever of the Bosmer to invent such a dish, the Cyrodiils agreed. Eee. Dwarves, Volume 2, by Calcelmo, Scholar of Malkarth. In our previous discussion of the dwarves, or dwemer in the more correct scholarly terminology, we looked into the properties of dwarven architecture and metallic traits. In this continuing discussion of Tamriel's lost race, we shall examine the ways in which dwarves waged war and kept out trespassers. Unlike many other cultures still existing today, the dwarves built and relied on increasingly complicated machines for a wide variety of martial tasks, and weapons and armor created solely for the purpose of being wielded by dwarven warriors. They show remarkably fewer points of progress beyond the basic designs. Let us begin by analyzing those basic weapons and armors. Anyone who has held a dwarven axe or worn a dwarven helmet can testify to the ancient, everlasting quality of dwarven craftsmanship. Weapons do not deviate too greatly from their base function. Dwarven swords pierce through light armors with incredible effectiveness, owing primarily to the remarkable sharpness of tempered dwarven metal, and owing to a far lesser extent to its simple, double-edged design. Compare and contrast a sharp, angular dwarven dagger to a curved elven blade, and it becomes a small logical leap to say that dwarven weaponsmiths relied almost exclusively on creating quality materials first, and merely allowed the form of those materials to flow from the method that weapon was intended to kill people. As a culture that built almost exclusively underground, it's no surprise that dwarven armors are built to withstand incredibly heavy blows. Again, the fact that they are also resistant to being pierced by arrows or small blades is more of a testament to superior dwarven metallurgy over superior dwarven armor smithing, but it would be erroneous to thus conclude that dwarven smiths do not take their manufacture of their weapons and armor very seriously. Every piece of Warcraft I have examined shows a remarkable amount of unnecessary detailing and personalization that is just as evident today among the most ardent blacksmiths. A dwarven smith probably came from a long tradition that distinguished itself in a way that, say, the grip of a mace would feel, or the design of the head of an individual arrow. Although, due to the paltry lack of any cultural artifacts outside of weapons and armors themselves, this is only mere speculation. The last, but probably most important discussion in this volume pertains to the existence of dwarven machinery. Dwarves created and manufactured on a very broad scale thousands of mechanical apparatus of varying complexity, the most simple of which is the standard arachnid design used to ward off trespassers. We are so far uncertain as to how the dwarves were able to bring to life these remarkably intelligent machines, but I have witnessed one stalk a highly trained thief for several hours, only to ambush him as he was dealing with a lock to some room or treasure trove. I admit to have forgotten the details past the point at which it began spouting lightning at him. Dwarven military machines also range from the human-sized sphere warrior, which patrols the interiors of the ruins as a harmless ball, only to emerge from it as a fully armed and armored automaton fighter, to the justly feared centurion, whose height ranges from twice to several hundred times human size, depending on which reports you believe. Phaedra's letter to Saleya. Saleya, I've been watching your exploits for some time. I have long known of your prowess in battle, but after seeing the cunning and discretion you displayed in your encounter with Azadi, I think you're exactly the kind of person we need now. We are known as Remnants. Some call us the Eyes of the Watch. For decades, we have helped steer the destiny of Hammerfell. We are a mirage, a constant and formless threat to our enemies on the horizon. I, Fige, serve as their leader. Though the Dominion withdrew from Hammerfell years ago, the Thalmor continued to strike at us in secret. We received word from the city of Sentinel that one of our own, Rakid, has been taken hostage by the Thalmor. They've been aided by Ismail, a powerful noble and traitor to his people. There is no doubt that they will try to extract what Rakid knows about Sentinel's defenses. We have to stop them before that happens. We've learned that Rakid may be transported across Skyrim soon. It's vital that we intercept him from the Thalmor before it's too late. I need someone like you who can move freely throughout Skyrim and not arouse suspicion. Speak to me in Pure Water Run, in the hills of Markarth. I await your arrival. Fige. That's Creation Club. That started with the fist fight that I declined in Shortstone. So they're waiting in a cave. Letter from Relish Sedaris. Hope this message finds you quickly, Saleya. You've completed the initial excavation but have run into some unexpected difficulties. Come as soon as you can. Your partner, Relish. Letter from Steward Jorlif. Master Aventus Arantino, Jarl Ulfric Stormcloak wishes to express his deepest sympathies at the death of your mother, Nalia. Unfortunately, because you are fatherless and have no other known relations, the Jarl cannot allow you to remain in your home unsupervised. Therefore, in no more than a week's time, you are to report to Honor Hall Orphanage in Riften, where you will reside until your 16th birthday. The Arantino family home in the city of Windhelm will, of course, remain your property. The building will be securely locked and ready for your return 6 years hence. Note that I am unsure of the education provided to you by your recently deceased mother, or if you possess the ability to read the letter I am currently composing. Therefore, a member of the city guard will call upon you in 1 week, at your home, and provide escort to the orphanage. Hopefully his arrival will not come as a complete shock. With greatest respect, Jorleif, steward to our most noble Jarl, Ulfric Stormcloak. Noble. Sure. Oh, someone died. Letter of inheritance. Saleya. In the name of Jarl Thongvar Silverblood, it was with great regret that we inform you of Gorza Gokbogo's death. Yeah, that happened. I got a whole 10 gold pieces. Hey, okay. Ah! I'm not sure if a Vanchenzel is Riften regular or Creation Club. Well, we'll find out. Because that's another dungeon
Another
that I
quiet
could
day.
do.
I hope.
Mule. Mule. Hey, Mule.
How's the Thieves Guild?
If you've got the coin, you've come to the right place. Pull up a seat.
Looking for work?
Mule.
You're a stranger
Oh my
here
god,
too, huh?
sweetheart. Okay. Hello. Tell me about the Rift and Thieves Guild.
To call it a guild is ridiculous. How can people who would betray one another over a gold coin be considered part of an association? They're the worst kind. Even the Dark Brotherhood abides by a strict set of rules and tradition. These thieves are just rabble.
Okay.
What do you think?
I agree completely.
You know, I'm beginning to respect you. Other than Aaron, you seem to be the only other person I've met I might be able to trust. Since we share the same opinion of them, let me warn you that they're recruiting others to join their guild, and you should be cautious.
Tell me about the Blackbriar family. I don't know why she's
Maven
not giving me the
Blackbriar,
Grim
the
Silver quest.
matriarch of the family, represents everything that's wrong with this city. She's bribed countless officials, has friends back in the Imperial City, and freely associates with the Thieves Guild. I've tried everything I can to protect Riften's citizens from her family, but to no avail.
Who else is in the family?
Well, there is Ingun Blackbriar, Maven's daughter. Strange girl. She likes to spend time down in Elgrim's elixirs working on her alchemy. Then you have Hemming, Maven's son. Spoiled brat and heir to her empire. He follows her word like a loyal dog follows its master. And finally, Sibi, the worst of all of them. He's in Riften jail for murder.
You're not from Riften?
I've been adventuring across Tamriel since I was a fresh-faced young woman barely able to swing a blade. My travels have taken me from High Rock to Valenwood, Elsewhere to Morrowind, and all points in between.
Why are you here then?
Many years ago, I lost my
go.
blade, Grimsever, within a Dwemer ruin. I took it as a sign that I was wasting my days in search of wealth. You and I are alike. We seek challenge and great fortune. But for me, that's where the similarities end. You see, Riften is my great beast to be slain, and my fortune comes from gratitude and trust.
I can't stand this city anymore.
What happened to your blade, Grimsever?
It was lost years ago in a Dwemer ruin. Without it, I feel almost as defenseless as a newborn. I don't think I'll ever be able to find a replacement.
I could find it for you.
I couldn't ask you to undertake such a treacherous journey. It would be a fool's errand. But I see that spark in your eye, and I know better than to warn you away. Grimsever rests within the Dwemer ruin of Mesinchaleft. Tread carefully, friend. Those same ruins almost took my life.
I've located Grimsever.
Astonishing! To think you actually were able to reach it, and yet return to tell the tale? Rarely in my travels have I encountered those who possess skills equal to your own. I see I still have much to learn. If you'd permit me, I'd be honored to accompany you in your travels for a time.
Okay.
I see I still have much to learn. Lead on.
I've never seen Mjol this upset about anything. The city
Okay, well
really
that
gets to her.
explains some stuff. The
Looking
Cold
for
Sun
work?
replaced
I need someone to deliver
women.
a message to Sibi Blackbriar.
Mjol told me that it isn't this bad everywhere.
What sort of message?
Maybe
Ah,
one day I'll
well,
venture out
So
and
it
I
appears
recently
that
approached
that
Sibi
they
Blackbriar about buying Frost,
have a
one of the
different
finest breeding horses
body,
in Skyrim. He agreed to
than the
sell.
ones with undies on it.
I
Explaining
paid Sibi
why
half the cost of
Lydia
Frost up
gets
front,
naked.
but before he could deliver, Maven had him locked up. Sibby believes this exempts
I'm
him
okay
from
with
our
it.
deal.
I mean, like, we murder people
It
here.
does not.
Nudity
I want
should not
you
be
to
that
talk
big
to
of a
Sibby
deal.
for me. Then I want you to bring me Frost and the lineage papers that prove the horse's worth.
Sounds easy enough.
Ah, you're a smart woman. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Head to the Riften jail and talk to Sibby. Get him to tell you where Frost and his lineage papers are and bring them to me outside Riften. You'll be well paid for your time. I'll meet you outside of town.
Let's see if I can talk to Shadra. I know we finished his quest like the first time we came here. So yeah, it does look like the Gold Sun guys have their own specific body, which doesn't respond to undies. But yes, if you're gonna murder people, do not clutch the pearls at sex. Murder, torture, vampires. If boobs are an issue or a problem, probably shouldn't be murdering, torturing, and, you know, killing people. Hey, Shadra.
Any luck with Sapphire?
You're no longer in debt with Sapphire.
By the 8. You actually talked her into it? I don't know what to say. I didn't think anyone in Riften even cared what happened to me. Look, I was saving this, but I wanted you to have it. I thought I might need it if Sapphire came for me, but I don't need it anymore.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if the lexicon and Inventionzel are included in Riften, I'm going to see if Majestic is... Majestic, Majestic might be
stories about you.
out here.
Dark tidings in Dawn Star.
Greetings, honored friend. Could I interest you in some fine jewelry?
Do you make your own jewelry?
I do. Sadly, I'm one of the few traditional Saxhleel jewelers that remains in Tamriel. It's becoming a lost art. Only trouble is gathering materials has become hazardous. The roads to the mines and to the other cities are thick with bandits, and worse. Would you be interested in gathering some materials for me? I'd certainly be happy to compensate you.
Sure, I'll get them for you.
Thank you, Landstrider. I'm seeking a small list of items to complete my next creation. 2 flawless sapphires, a mammoth tusk, and a chunk of gold ore.
I have your flawless sapphires.
Good. These will make wonderful settings for my rings.
I have a chunk of gold ore for you.
Perfect. Melting this down will give me plenty of gold for those necklaces I started.
Nah, all of those mammoth
Safe
tasks I
travels,
passed up.
Landstrider.
Gems, potions, exotic ingredients, I have them all.
Sticking it to Maven Blackbriar. Now that is a job that I can enjoy thoroughly.
You guys still over here?
Rare trinkets and the finest oddities from Morrowind.
Okay, I don't see Balamond, so let's go talk to Ingen. See if she's down here.
You here for lessons, like Ingen?
This
Or
place
did you
has
wish-
seen better days, but it's not my fault.
You got your hands full, huh?
I swear if I wasn't around, Elgrim would forget to eat his meals. How we make any coin at all is beyond me.
In fact, I need to arrange for someone to pick up an ore sample for me in Shore's stone. Goodness knows Elgrim won't lift a finger to do it.
I could get it for you.
You would? Oh, that would be wonderful. Speak to Filnyar in Shore's stone. He's got some sort of ore sample he wants us to identify and was willing to pay us well for it.
I'd like to make an investment in your business.
Excellent. I think you'll be glad that you made this decision. Thank you. I'll be sure to put it to good use. Be careful. The road to Shore's stone could be dangerous.
Doesn't look like Ingun's in here. See if Balamond has reset. He might be inside the house too. I can talk to him there.
Yes, so long.
A fine day to you, friend. May you die with a sword in.
There we go. Hey, Balamond.
Come to see Balamond perform miracles with steel, eh?
Looking good, Balamond. You seem quite proud of your work.
Smithing's been in my blood for generations. I owe my success to my forefathers and their recipe for flame. The secret is my forge. It consumes fire salts, a strange mineral that burns as hot as red mountain lava.
Impressive.
Well, it was. Sadly, this forge is dying, and I've used the last of my fire salts. If I can't feed it soon, it may grow cold.
Photobombing crow. Would 10 pinches of fire salt help?
Amazing. These must have been very hard to come by.
I've been saving them
You've
just for you,
saved my
man.
business and warmed an old smith's heart. For that, I thank you.
You're welcome. You're always in my mind, honey. You have trained me so often. I'd like to make an investment in your business.
Excellent. I think you'll be glad that you made this decision.
Always there for you, Balamond.
Thank you. I'll
You've
be
been a
sure to
good
put it
friend
to
to
good
me.
use.
I won't forget that.
Return any time. You're quite welcome here.
Thank you. Oh.
Sorry about the mess. Keeping this place clean is quite a chore.
Do you work here?
Work? I suppose you can call it that. I call it slavery. I work my fingers to the bone keeping this disgusting place clean. Ever since my parents died and Helga took me in, it's been a nightmare. How was I to know she was such a wretched woman? So now I'm stuck living here, while those pigs she calls customers grope me and say the most awful things.
Why do you hate Helga so much?
It's not just the work, it's everything about her. She's disgusting. I think she takes her worship of Dibella a bit too seriously. Do you know she's slept with 3 different men in the last month alone? What kind of woman would do such a thing?
None of your business.
Just for once,
Stand up for yourself.
I'd like to see her squirm, to rub her nose in it.
You're an awful person. You don't have to work
Actually, there is. But I don't think I could get away with doing it. She'd kill me if she found out.
Oh,
you see,
poor
I happen
baby.
to know, after she makes love, she gives her partner a token of her affection, called a mark of Dibella. If you confront her with 3 of the marks, she'd be so embarrassed. Well, I don't know what she'd do.
She should be proud. Oh well, I'm defending my mom because there's nothing wrong with sex. As I'd said, I don't like you, but I'll do your quest. I mean, I've murdered people, so I'll get you this. Sure, I'll help you.
Oh, this is going to be great! You need to get the marks of Dibella from Boli, Hofgrir, and Indarin. Not sure how you're going to do that, but try your best. Then just confront Helga with them, and the rest works itself out.
Oh, Bali is the trout guy, no
Try
doubt.
and get those marks without violence, please. I don't want to be responsible for their deaths. Or yours.
I don't think I've ever done this quest. It's pretty gross. Alright. It's sending me to
Hey,
talk
dog,
to Sibby. I'll
watch
do
over
that.
your back.
Catch up on this stuff later.
Helga's been a busy woman, hasn't she?
Let's not laugh about women having sex, shall we?
Now I know who you are, and I know your business. Just please, these are good folk we've got here. Mostly.
Sure. So we've got mercenaries willing to murder and stab people.
Hey,
hanging
you're
out
not
in
supposed to be
bars.
down here. Official business only. What are you doing down here?
I'm fine. I'm allowed to be here.
Oh, my mistake then. Sorry, you can go on
It
ahead.
is your mistake, but good for you, young man. I don't see why there shouldn't be prostitutes or Debellan worshippers in every tavern, just as there are mercenaries.
Well, well, aren't you a sight for sore eyes? I've always got time for lovely ladies.
Ew.
Have you come to gawk at me, or is this a social call?
Neither. I was sent by Louis Latrouche.
Ah, and let me guess. He wants his horse. Well, that's going to be a bit of a problem. See, I don't really outright own Frost.
You don't own the horse you've already sold to Latrouche?
That is correct. You see, Frost belongs to the Blackbriar estate. Technically, everything in the estate is owned by my mother, Maven. My plan was to take the horse from our lodge and deliver it to Latrouche at the stables. Obviously, that didn't exactly work out as I'd planned. Still, I don't want to cross Latrouche. Tell you what, steal the horse and deliver it, and you can have the second half of the payment.
You know, I bet Maven would pay me even more for this information.
Sure, take advantage of the guy in jail. Okay, fine, I can make the deal sweeter. I obviously don't have anything here, but there's a hidden stash in the lodge, and I did manage to hold on to the key. Take it.
Okay.
Is someone there? Thought I heard something.
Nope. Nobody's here. Nobody's there. Oh. Hello, wolf. I don't think I've ever even been up here. What's up here? There are stairs. Why are there stairs to nowhere? Pretty stars. Pretty moon. Okay.
job. Hey, it's funny. It's times like this I always hold my breath at the end with you two. Listening for the click when it unlocks.
Look! Mimic Tusk. Deed of ownership. Horse, frost, sex, stallion. Color, mealy, chestnut. Sire, grain. Great-grandsire, sleep muir. Dam, unknown. Great-dam-sire, Loka.
Tired of getting disarmed.
About bloody time. I'm sorry.
It's fine, honey.
Kill him to get some beer every now and then.
That's no rough stuff. Just take it and go. Don't sound like much fun, though.
Fair warning. I'm absolutely shite at this, so apologies in advance.
Oh, I was supposed to steal Frost. Oh, for goodness sake. Pay attention. When you're supposed to steal a horse, don't leave the horse behind.
Now ain't this a surprise?
A fight? Fuck off.
I'm warning you. Back off.
Oh, look, there's the unicorn. I'll pick up the unicorn while I'm here.
Ha! You've done it! Got to admit, I wasn't sure you could pull it off. But you've definitely earned your pay.
Speaking of my pay.
Yes, here it is. I think I pissed me off now.
Yeah, I don't need to keep the horse. I'm not going to use it. I'm going to go get the unicorn. Hey, honey. Okay. Wild horses will buck until tamed. Stay mounted until they submit. If you're thrown, try again. Once tamed, you can add a saddle and rename them at any stable. When changing horses, tamed horses will return to the location where they were found.
I'm glad to be wandering the wilds.
So this is a quest we picked up at the Mages Guild Library, the Arcanium. And this is from the Wild Horses Creation Club. There are a bunch of these around the world. This one is unique, and then beyond that you can buy a wild horse map at the stable keeper I'm not sure if it's any stable keeper or just the one in Whiterun.
One of these days I'm gonna cut something off myself.
And this
I
is how you
swear.
do it. You just sneak up on them, ride around, they throw you off a couple times, and then you have a horse. So now that I have a horse beyond Aonbar, I can buy armor for them. And these will show up in the Legacy of the Dragonborn Museum as displays. Each horse, I think they're just little horse miniatures, which is kind of cute. On a shelf somewhere. And then a display for armor. Okay, completed Creature of Legend, so now I have a unicorn mount. I'm gonna head to Shore Stone to pick up the metal. Deliver the metal sample.
This wouldn't be the first time that I've travelled with a wanted criminal, but I think we should get that bounty taken care of.
Oh, wow, okay. What time is it? I'm gonna risk it, see if I get in trouble for breaking in. Sometimes you can complete quests. And this guy's a friend of mine. Obtain an ore sample. Okay, let's see. I might get booted out. Not the end of the world.
You take my breath away when you do that.
I mean, nicely done. Shit.
Focus, Kai. I'm sorry.
The mine will be running better than ever, thanks to you.
Yay, good. I'm here for Elgrim's ore sample.
It's about time. I sent them a letter weeks ago. Ah, that Elgrim. He'd forget his own pants if his wife didn't help him dress. Here you go. Tell Half-Yord that she can chip off whatever she thinks is a fair trade for their time.
Okay.
Don't kid yourself.
I'd like
If
to
you're
armor
looking
my
for
horse.
supplies, I'd advise heading to Riften.
I'd like to armor my horse.
Of course.
Steel? What's so special about this ore?
Red Belly is supposed to be nothing but an iron mine. Been working it for years. Then, right before the spiders had moved in, we found that chunk of ore. Never seen anything like it. I want to know what I'm dealing with before I start tearing it out of the ground.
Okay.
Don't kid yourself. Stone runs in our blood.
That's not good any more than silver.
What brings you out to shore?
Yeah, I'm not gonna pick my way into
I
Elgrim.
guess those shadow marks belong to the Thieves Guild. We should visit each place and see what they have to offer.
Yeah, he's talking about these, all the shadow marks. Right there. They all have different codes. I don't remember what they
I grew
are.
up hearing songs about Aldi the bear. She wrestled the storm out of the sky.
Sounds like a... Oh, wow. Don't pick the lock without sneaking. I wouldn't tell him I'm not sneaking. I'm gonna just try pickpocketing all of the, Debellin marks. weird.
I swear at this point you're only wanting us to sneak about because you... I can't think straight seeing you move like that.
If you've got the coin, you've come to the right place. Pull up a seat.
Excuse me, I'm sneaking. How do you know I'm here?
What do you need?
If your allegiance lies with the Empire, we haven't much to discuss.
New in town, eh? Here for the fishing, I guess.
Is he at the stables? Yeah, he owns the stables, okay.
Heard there were wolves on the road up north.
There are wolves on the road east, west, south, and north.
Yeah. Shit. Sorry. I'll shut up now.
Helga, I will be disappointed in you if you blush for a second. Stand up to this bitch. Be proud. Look, you've got an altar. You've got a statue that I didn't even steal this time.
Someone's had fun here.
Come on. Talk to me, Helga. Do the right thing. Be proud. Stand up for my mom and yourself. And for people who have lots of sex.
Oh, it's you. Come to extort more from me?
I believe these are yours?
What? How? Where did you get these? No, don't tell me. I don't want to know. Look, we need to keep this quiet, between you and me, okay? No one else needs to know about it. If word got out that I'm practicing my Debellan arts in Riften, they'll run me out of town. Here, take this and don't mention a word of this to anyone, especially Svanna.
Especially as fun. Okay.
I don't know why I bother.
Well, that could just be interpreted as discretion, which is fine with me. Be a sex witch, honey. That's fine. I know they will tar and feather you and won't even pay you for it.
Any luck getting the marks from those men?
I gave the marks to Helga.
Oh, I know. Isn't it wonderful? I bet she squirmed like a skeever when you pulled them out of your pocket.
You're the
I think
worst.
things are going to be a lot different around here from now on. And I have you to thank for it. Here, I want you to have this. It was my father's, but I'm certain you'll put it to good use.
You're a jerk.
Sure, leave. Not like you care anyway.
Well, you
What
are
bloody hell are we
right
doing
for
here
the first
anyway?
time since I have spoken to you. Yeah! Cool floor. Oh, it's a bathhouse. Nice.
To a tavern we ought to make haste. A hot dish I'd love me to taste. Yes, food is nutritious, but there's nothing delicious as the Dragonborn's legs round me waist.
Hey, water in the wash basin! There's a mod for that. But most of the wash basins in the houses are like static from mods, since player-made homes are mods, so there isn't water in many wash basins in my houses. I like seeing it in the vanilla game. Okay, let's see what's possible to do at night. Religious literature sounds like the Temple of Mara. Reports of a disturbance. Maramal, we've gotten numerous reports of disturbances in the graveyard area next to the temple, and we'd like you to investigate. The reports describe strange noises described as stone grating on stone and shadowy figures moving about the mausoleum. We've sent a guard to investigate, but they've come up empty-handed. We already spoke to Alessandra, but she assures me that these odd reports have nothing to do with any rituals of arcade she might be performing. Any help you could render would certainly be appreciated. And Uriel, Steward of Riften. Oh, sweetie. You're gone. Is she in the side room? Oh, I didn't even know you guys had a basement.
I can't say I'm devout. I've decided my world is the here and now.
Come to laugh at the grave tender?
You tend the graveyard?
If you're trying to ask if I tend the Hall of the Dead alone, then the answer is yes. You think anyone around here is going to lift a shovel to help me? Guess again. Leave the dirty work to old Alessandra. Look, I didn't ask for this job. I got stuck with it thanks to my father.
How can you make peace with your father?
I'd like to make the journey to the Hall of the Dead in Whiterun. and give my ceremonial dagger to Anders, the caretaker. I believe once it's interred with my father's remains, I'll be at peace with his memory.
I can bring it for you.
I hadn't asked you because I was afraid you'd say no. I appreciate your help. Here, I'm entrusting you with the dagger. Bring it to Anders and he'll take care of the rest. Be cautious. The pilgrimage to the shrine is not an easy one.
There's in Whiterun? Really?
Lady Mara bids you welcome to her benevolence.
Yeah, where? Oh, okay.
What is it you seek, my child?
Which of the 8 divines do you serve?
We are devoted to the goddess Mara, who gave mortals the gift of love, that they might have a hint of eternity. Her blessings are many. To love is to know the true nature of the gods.
May I receive her blessings?
Not all can hear the broad echoes of deepest dawn. To receive the touch of Mara, you must first act as her hands in the world. Explore the facets of the infinite jewel. Are you prepared, then, to help bring the light across this land?
Her poetic way to ask me to hand out flyers. Just tell me what to do.
The dawn surely opens upon you, child. You must bear its light that all may see. Mara has reflected an image to me. At the foot of the throat and the young woman, almost a girl. Her fickle love must resolve itself.
Oh, she's sending me to Iverstead.
The village of Iverstead. The woman? Fastred.
Yeah.
This is the prayer heard by the goddess and relayed to her servants. Return when she has seen her path. I will entreat Mara on your behalf.
Okay. I'm gonna hear, while I'm here, I'll see if I can find Olava and have my fortune told.
Come to Olava for a reading, did you? Sorry, pup, but I'm not quite in the mood.
I have this token for you.
Token, you say? Let me see. Oh, goodness me. You're a friend of Gabriella's, then. Well, I guess we both know why you're here.
I was told you could see my future.
Well, yes, I surely can. It's not something I do lightly, mind you, and it's not as specific as you might want, but yes, I will do this for you. Please, relax. Free your mind. Yes, that's it.
What do you see?
Your destiny is dark. Oh, yes, so dark. But much of it has been fulfilled. You have found sanctuary and the comforting words of a mother's love. And you have companionship, a child of night and a stalker of the sands. Together you are a family. Wait, there's something else. A potential for adventure and wealth. It is a ruin ripe for the plunder. Deepwood Redoubt, far to the northwest. It is the last resting place of an assassin of old. A dark brother who bequeaths his ancient earthly possessions to you.
Is there anything else?
No, no, that is all. Now, please. I find myself very weary all of a sudden.
Okay. Did that give me a quest? No. Let's see if it oh, yeah, it did. Okay. Locate the assassin of old. Alright. Cool. Deepwater Redoubt is a player.
Don't suppose you'd
I don't know.
enchant my sword? Dull old blade.
Yeah.
Couldn't have chosen a better day for traveling.
You and me, we're the only people around who aren't complete fools.
I have Alessandra's dagger here.
She finally decided to return it to her father. Bless her heart. I will make sure this finds its way to his tomb as soon as possible. Thank you for bringing it, my child. The blessing of Arcay be upon you.
Alright, let's see if Avanchenzell is on the list. If so, we'll just head there now. Might as well. Oh, bonds of matrimony, find someone to marry. Can't do that. Already married Kaidan. Yep, there it is. Unfathomable depths. Weird, I am not seeing it. It did say to complete it as soon as possible. Let's see if it's in my miscellaneous. Weird. Well, yeah, it might be gone. Okay. I don't see the quest anymore. It said to complete it as soon as possible, so It may already be... It's weird. I don't understand why it would be affected by the main quest, but there you go. Alright. I have the mammoth tusk for Madison. I know with the England Blackbriar quest, she asks for a bunch of components, and people, you know, don't like her, and Halfjorg, Elgrim's wife, is creeped out by her. And if you look carefully at the ingredients she's asking for and her experiments, she's like just killing small animals. She's making poisons and torturing animals to death. It isn't experiments with alchemy. I mean, it is, but the end goal is to kill small animals. Yeesh. So I should be able to talk to Sibi and
Fear not.
Branche.
Dragon or giant will be ready.
I went the wrong way. I meant to go to the jail. Should be able to talk to Sibi again and to Medici. I mean Branche? Yeah. Who should be in the jail, which is sad.
Greetings, honored friend. Could I interest you in some fine jewelry?
I have a mammoth tusk for you.
The ivory from this tusk will be perfect for the inlay on my amulets.
Did you need anything else?
No, I think I have enough here to get started. Here, let me give you this. It's the least I can do for all your trouble. Safe travels, Landstrider.
I believe my favorite Elder Scrolls character.
And I know your business.
Now that I'm speaking to an Argonian, is Elder Scrolls Online Walk Softly. The Argonian.
It's not true what they say about you, Ed. The Dark Brotherhood. Is it?
Maybe I shouldn't tell you. Or the better question, why would I tell you? Walk Softly from the Thieves Guild is worth getting that game and playing it and finishing the Thieves quest line. They made the Thieves Guild in Elder Scrolls Online what this game should have been. Huh. I can't talk to Sibi, can I? I can't even pick the lock. Alright.
There are stories about you, and dark tidings in Dawn Star. The worker herder of the coast and the Dragonborn. Now that's an odd pair.
I love Kaidan's mod. Alright, let's see if I can go downstairs. Because I think Medici is in jail. Not Medici, Branche. Guy you
Another
framed.
quiet day, I hope.
Brynjolf sent you to rub it in?
Twice killed?
Yeah, got into a scrap a few years ago at the Ragged Flagon. Some idiot who stole himself a guard's sword and kept boasting about it. He's making too much racket, and I'm trying to get Vex drunk, so I tell him to keep it down, and he just runs me through.
And you lived?
Yeah, I was lucky, though. After Vex tore the guy to pieces, she gave me a potion. If she hadn't have been there... Anyway, after I got back to the guild, I decided to start calling myself Twice Killed.
But you weren't killed. Not even once.
Yeah, but Twice Killed has more of a ring to it.
Why are you in prison?
Because Big Bad Brynjolf doesn't like the way I play thief. Look, he says we needed coin, so I got coin. Who cares if people got hurt? Blood washes off septums. Now I'm sitting in here counting skeever droppings while he's drinking Blackbriar mead with Maven.
That's not as much of a thing that's nice. Yeah, you... Okay. So prison is a guild punishment?
Hey, if you're in good with Maven, you've pretty much got it made. She's got friends in high places, and I don't just mean in Skyrim. So getting the guards to throw me in here as a punishment was about as easy as falling off a log. You didn't need to leave so soon.
The guards have been saying things about you. That you're the one that will...
Oh, for fuck's sake.
They say that the Dark Brotherhood will...
Please? It just... I mean, it makes me want to stab you guys.
Ma'am.
Shut up. Okay. Well... I can't
Stay out
find...
of trouble, Elf.
That's Thane Elf. Thank you very much. Alright, well now Riften has made me tired again.
Is it true what they say? There was a dragon held captive in Whiterun.
Let's have a drink, or eat something. There's a woman who's spiteful and mean, and the most paranoid I've ever seen. She may have a past, but she's a pain in the ass. She's a horn stealer known as Delphine.
Argonian Account 2 by Waylandjar. Decimus Scotty emerged from the dirt and reeds, exhausted from running, his face and arms sheathed in red flesh flies. Looking back towards Cyrodiil, he saw the bridge disappear beneath the thick black river, and he knew he was not getting back until the tide went down in a few days' time. The river also held in its adhesive depths his files on the Black Marsh account. He would have to rely on his memory for his contacts in Gideon. Malik was purposefully striding through the reeds ahead, flailing ineffectually at the flesh flies. Scotty hurried after him. "We're lucky, sir," said the Red Guard, which struck Scotty as an extraordinarily odd thing to say until his eyes followed where the man's finger was pointing. "The caravan is here." 21 rusted, mud-spattered wagons with rotting wood and wobbly wheels sat half-sunk in the soft earth ahead. A crowd of Argonians, gray-scaled and gray-eyed, the sort of sullen manual laborers that were common in Cyrodiil, pulled at one of the wagons which had been detached from the others. As Scotty and Malik came closer, they saw it was filled with a cargo of blackberries so decayed that they had become hardly recognizable, more of a festering jelly than a wagon load of fruit. Yes, they were going to the city of Gideon, and yes, they said Scotty could get a ride with them after they finished unloading this shipment of lumberries. How long ago were they picked? Scotty asked, looking at the wagon's rotten produce. The harvest was in last seed, of course, said the Argonian who seemed to be in charge of the wagon. It was now sun's dusk, so they had been en route from the fields for a little over 2 months. Clearly, Scotty thought there were problems with transportation. But fixing that, after all, was what he was doing here as a representative of Lord Vannick's building commission. It took close to an hour of the berries rotting even more in the sun for the wagon to be pushed to the side, the wagons in front of it and behind it to be attached to one another, and one of the eight horses from the front of the caravan to be brought around to the now independent wagon. The laborers moved with dispirited lethargy, and Scotty took the opportunity to inspect the rest of the caravan and talk with the fellow travelers. 4 of the wagons had benches in them, fit for uncomfortable riders. All the rest was filled with grain, meat, and vegetation in various stages of corruption. The travelers consisted of the 6 Argonian laborers, 3 Imperial merchants so bug-bitten that their skin looked as scaly as the Argonians themselves, and 3 cloaked fellows who were evidently dumber, judging by the red eyes that gleamed in the shadows under their hoods. All were transporting their goods along this, the Imperial Commerce Road. "This is a road?" Scotty exclaimed, looking at the endless field of reeds that reached up to his chin or higher. "It's solid ground, of a sort," one of the hooded Dunmer shrugged. "The horses eat some of the reed, and sometimes we set fire to it, but it just grows right back." Finally, the wagon master signaled that the caravan was ready to go, and Scotty took a seat in the 3rd wagon with the other Imperials. He looked around, but Malik was not on board. "I agreed to get you to Black Marsh and take you back out," said the Red Guard, who had plumped down a rock in the sea of reeds and was munching on a hairy carrot. "I'll be here when you get back." Scotty frowned, and not only because Malik had dropped the deferential title Sir while addressing him. Now he truly knew no one in Black Marsh, but the caravan slowly ground and bumped forward, so there was no time to argue. A noxious wind blew across the Commerce Road, causing patterns in the endless, featureless expanse of reeds. In the distance there seemed to be mountains, but they constantly shifted, and Scotty realized they were banks of mist and fog. Shadows flitted across the landscape, and when Scotty looked up, he saw they were being cast by giant birds with long, saw-like beaks, nearly the size of the rest of their bodies. Hack Wings, Carol, Gemulus, and Imperial on Scotty's left, who might have been young but looked old and beaten, muttered, "Like everything else in this damnable place, they'll eat you if you don't keep moving. Beggars pounce down and give you a nasty chop, and then fly off and come back when you're mostly dead from blood loss." Scotty shivered. He'd hoped they'd be in Gideon before nightfall. It was then it occurred to him that the sun was on the wrong side of the caravan. "Excuse me, sir," Scotty called to the wagon master. "I thought you said we were going to Gideon?" The wagon master nodded. "Why are we going north, then, when we should be going south?" There was no reply, but a sigh. Scotty confirmed with his fellow travelers that they too were going to Gideon, and none of them seemed very concerned about the circuitous route to getting there. The seats were hard on his middle-aged back and buttocks, but the bumping rhythm of the cavern and the hypnotic waving reeds gradually had an effect on him, and Scotty drifted off to sleep. He awoke in the dark, some hours later, not sure where he was. The caravan was no longer moving, and he was on the floor, under the bench, next to some small boxes. There were voices speaking a hissing, clicking language Scotty didn't understand, and he peeked up between someone's legs to see what was happening. The moons barely pierced the thick mist surrounding the caravan, and Scotty did not have the best angle to see who was talking. For a moment, it looked like the gray wagon master was talking to himself, but the darkness had movement and moisture, in fact, glistening scales. It was hard to tell how many of these things there were, but they were big, black, and the more Scotty looked at them, the more details he could see. When one particular detail emerged, huge mouths filled with dripping needle-like fangs, Scotty slipped back under the bench. Their black little eyes had not fallen on him yet. The legs in front of Scotty moved and then began to thrash as their owner was grabbed and pulled out of the wagon. Scotty crouched further back, getting behind the little boxes. He didn't know much about concealment, but had some experience with shields. He knew that having something, anything, in between you and bad things was always good. A few seconds after the legs had disappeared from sight and there was a horrible scream, and then a second, and a third. Different timbers, different accents, but the same inarticulate message: terror and pain. Horrible pain. Scotty remembered a long-forgotten prayer to the god Stendar and whispered it to himself. Then there was silence, ghastly silence that lasted only a few minutes, but which seemed like hours. Years. And then the carriage started rolling forward again. Scotty cautiously crawled out from under the carriage. Gemulus gave him a bemused grin. "There you are," he said. "I thought the Nagas took you." "Nagas?" "Nasty characters," Gemulus said, frowning. "Puff adders with legs and arms 7 feet tall, 8 when they're mad. Come from the inner swamp, and they don't like it here much, so they're particularly peevish. You're the kind of posh Imperial they're looking for." Scotty had never in his life thought of himself as posh. His mud and fleshfly bespeckled clothing seemed eminently middle class at best to him. What would they want me for? To rob, of course, the Imperial smiled. And to kill. You didn't notice what happened to the others? The Imperial frowned, as if struck by a thought. You didn't sample from those boxes down below, did you? Like the sugar? Do you? Gods, no, Scotty grimaced. Imperial nodded, relieved. You just seem a little slow. First time to Black Marsh, I gather? Oh, hey ho, hiss piss. Scotty was just about to ask Gemulus what that vulgar term meant when the rain began. It was an inferno of foul-smelling, yellow-brown rain that washed over the caravan, accompanied by a growl of thunder in the distance. Gemulus worked to pull the roof up over the wagon, glaring at Scotty until he helped with the laborious process. He shuddered, not only from the cold damp, but from contemplation of the disgusting precipitation pouring down on the already nasty produce in the uncovered wagon. "We'll be dry soon enough," Gemulus smiled, pointing out into the fog. Scotty had never been to Gideon, but he knew what to expect. A large settlement more or less laid out like an imperial city, with more or less imperial-style architecture and all the imperial comforts and traditions, more or less. The jumble of huts, half-sunken mud, was decidedly less. "Where are we?" asked Scotty, bewildered. "Hinksanog," replied Gemulus, pronouncing the queer name with confidence. "You were right. We were going north, when we should have been going south." Dwarves, Volume 3. In this final volume on our discussion in the Dwarves, again, see the term Dwemer for references for the more scholastic name. We will attempt an examination into the distinct culture and history of Tamriel's lost race. We must, however, begin such a discussion with a warning. Despite what certain academic circles would like people to believe, there is so far no evidence that verifies any claim as to the dwarves' particular customs, morals, myths, legends, laws, systems of government, or involvement in major historical events outside of those few examples that remain indisputable. For instance, while we can say with absolute certainty that the disappearance of the entire dwarven race happened very suddenly, only the laziest of junior scholars would say that this event happened in the same day or even the same hour. There is simply no proof to dispute the theory that perhaps the dwarves disappeared from Tamriel gradually, over the course of several years or indeed several decades. There's also nothing that disproves the source of this disappearance as being attributable to mass deaths, plagues, magical contamination, experiments into the nature of the theory has gone wrong, or even race-wide teleportation into one of the planes of oblivion. There is simply too little that the dwarves left behind that points to the nature of their great vanishing act, and this same frustration applies to all aspects of their social structure and history. What we know, then, can only be inferred by the writings of the other races which made contact with the dwarves before they left Tamriel. The Dark Elves, Dunmer, for example, teach that their great prophet Nerevar helped unite the dwarves and the elves in Morrowind against occupying Nord armies from Skyrim in the First Era, but Nord and Orc writings also indicate that the dwarves were also allied with them at various points and in various legendary battles of theirs. Unfortunately, none of these legends and folklore make an effort to describe the dwarves in great detail, only that they were a secretive people, and that an alliance with them was unusual enough to warrant crafting a story around. And past the First Era, no race makes note of encountering any living dwarves at all. This is further confounded by the fact that so many of the Dark Elven writings on their relationship with the dwarves were lost during the tragic eruptions of Vardenfell during the Oblivion Crisis nearly 200 years ago. What secrets they could have revealed about the lost race are now buried behind layers of molten earth, along with so many unfortunate Dark Elven people. Thus, we conclude our discussion on the dwarves in a somber note. As with all scholarly endeavors, we are left with more questions than we have answers, and the proof we so desperately search for is often out of reach, denied even to the most fervent effort. The mysteries the dwarves have left us with could easily warrant another century or so worth of personal examinations from me, and quite possibly even several millennia of excavations of even one dwarven ruin would be insufficient to paint a complete picture on them. But what we can see from our threadbare tapestry of dwarven artifacts is a careful, intelligent, industrious, and highly advanced culture whose secrets we as students and teachers of their work can only hope to uncover someday.
Getting to see these armors, these weapons for...
Alright, I'm going to take a look at the Hall of Secrets. Read note from Orion. Hello, my friend. Clean up the hall and repairs to the entry point wall have been complete. I hope the space serves you well. While going about the cleanup, I recalled a vexing note that I had previously found during the construction of the expanding museum, which I thought at the time was just a bit of poetry or a riddle, but I get the feeling that this is somehow connected to the hall more specifically. I'm not certain that it will lead to anything fruitful, but if anyone can discern it has a purpose, I'm certain you can. Here's what the scrawled note said. Where wind does howl, yet rain cannot touch, feet above your head, hands beneath your boots, as they ride upon the waves of the sea. I don't know what that means.
The Hall of Secrets, eh?
Ooh, look.
Mysterious and shady. Aye, I like it. You know, this museum is starting to become one of my favourite places in Skyrim.
Okay. Cool. Ah! Yeah, some of these are not necessarily, I mean, they're like...
Stink. Is it potions or dinner? Ugh.
Cool. The skull of Narfi, skull of Betild, Modi's papers, Hern, Lurbuck. Oh, so there's still spaces for more heads. I maybe have to make some replicas to fill some of this stuff in. Ah! This is cool. I don't know what is supposed to go here. Suppose I'll find out as the game progresses.
Back's hurting a bit. Maybe you'll give me a mistake.
Thanks for watching. Wishing you found family, creative hobbies, a hot bath after a long day, and food you love as much as Saleya loves apple pies.